Okay, so everybody knows Stanley Kubrick's classic, The Shining from 1980, starring Jack Nicholson as the main character, Jack Torrance. Based on the book from Stephen King. Such an iconic movie. It's a classic. I love it. It's in like my top 5 favourite films of all time. Such a great like adaptation, although in some aspects, it like differs from the book on various things, and apparently Stephen King wasn't too keen on it himself. From what I've read, that's why he went ahead and got involved in making the 1997 The Shining miniseries. So I've just got done watching this, and it's based on the book by Stephen King, like the Stanley Kubrick movie, made 17 years after the Stanley Kubrick movie. Different tone, different pacing. It's a mini series, so it's in 3 parts. It aired on TV in 3 parts apparently. This is in 3 parts on the disc as well. There's only a DVD available. That's all I could get. No Blu-ray, no 4K, unlike this classic, which I have on 4K. So I'm not here necessarily to compare. I'm just here to show a little appreciation for the 1997 remake miniseries. Now, obviously, as you've heard, Stephen King perhaps too keen on the Stanley Kubrick film, not too true to his book. So he did the teleplay for the miniseries, which is directed by Mick Garris. I think that's right. He's done a number of films. He worked on the Masters of Horror as well. He did Sleepwalkers, I think he's the director of, which is another King adaptation, and others, among others. So this actually was a lot better than I expected. Now, I've heard a lot of bad reviews for it, not much praise. I've heard people say it's boring, the acting's crap, etc, etc. So I thought, you know what? I saw this quite cheap for about like £4 UK odd. And I thought, you know what? Never seen it. I'm going to give it a go. It was on YouTube for free. So if you have YouTube, which I'm sure obviously you all do because you're watching this video on YouTube. How silly of me. Still, on YouTube, you can watch this complete mini-series for free. Sort of, it's as a movie. It equates to about 4.5 hours. So this is 2 hours, roughly. The classic from Kubrick. 4.5 for the mini-series. So it's slower paced. The story unfolds a lot slower. But I thought it really had a unique feel to it. Now, this is better, don't get me wrong, this is a better piece of cinema, but as a mini-series and a series, this is a good adaptation, and it's got a lot of stuff that the Kubrick film does, from the book, that the Kubrick film doesn't incorporate, such as the hedges, that are I forget what they're called now, but they're trimmed into shapes of animals, and they come alive and things, as you know, in The Shining. In the mini-series, they do that, like they have the trimmed bushes come alive, which are shaped like animals. They come alive, and the ghosts have more of an impact in the miniseries, like the book. They do have the ghosts in the film, and they're done very well, and they're very creepy, especially the scene where you see that guy in the room with that guy in a teddy bear suit. But they elaborate here in the miniseries. The ghosts are incorporated more into the plot as a whole. They focus more on The Shining. Don't get me wrong, this film is phenomenal, fantastic, and they do focus on The Shining as well. But here, they really do focus on Danny Torrance's gift of The Shining more. You actually see Tony, his imaginary friend. That ties into the ending as well of the mini-series. You don't see a depiction of Tony in the film. But in the mini-series, you actually see what Andy sees. Danny sees, sorry, not Andy. You actually see what Danny Torrance sees, Tony. And I just thought it was really well done for what it's worth. The Overlook, I'd say, looks better in the movie. But the aesthetic for the Overlook in this series also looks great. It captures that sort of eerie atmosphere, quite foreboding, and the sense of isolation's captured well. Plus, the characters have more time to develop. Obviously, Jack Nicholson is immensely good in the film and does a phenomenal job as Jack Torrance. But Jack in the miniseries, the actor, also does a decent job. Got his name on the top of my tongue, but anyway, the actor does a great job, and it's no Jack Nicholson performance, but it's still a stellar performance. I think it's not too bad. Sometimes Danny's acting can be a bit strange, I thought, a little bit stiff and stuff. He's not too bad. Like, the character development for Danny's really good in this, as they focus on his gift of The Shining when he shines. But Wendy's character's better, I thought, in the mini-series. Don't get me wrong. Shelley Duvall, does a good job in the film, like really good, and, looks terrified throughout. But in this, Wendy's fleshed out more, and she has more of a like kick-ass sort of protagonist feel to her. She really tries to fight Jack more and things like that. There's also another bit where they cover the croquet. They in the film, obviously they opted for an axe where Jack cuts, you know, he hacks the door down and he says, "Here's Johnny," in that infamous scene. In the miniseries, they focus on this idea that the people who stay at the Overlook play a lot of croquet, you know, and it's embedded into its like culture and history of the establishment. And there's no axe here. Jack Torrance actually opts for a croquet stick or racket that's really heavy. You know, it's a big piece of wood on the end that he just slugs people with. You know, he hits Dick hard with it and nearly kills him. He also pummels Wendy with it a few times in some quite uneasy scenes. I mean, this film isn't too gory or anything, but it's got a bit of blood in there and it's got quite a bit of violence in there. And I thought it was really well done. So, don't get me wrong, this is better, the film, but if you're looking for a more like elaborate sort of extensive, slower paced reimagine, you know, not even a reimagine, just like adaptation of The Shining, that's kind of more true to the book in some ways, but maybe not quite the masterpiece that the film is, but still something that expands. This is worth a look. It tells a similar story, the same story practically, but in a different way, with different acting and more things added. And I just thought I was really impressed by it. It runs at 260 minutes approximately. And yeah, it's just really good. It's better than I expected. I thought it was going to be a bit of a shit show from what I've heard. And it just goes to show you, like I put on this short video on the channel, you should always like watch things for yourself and judge. Like, don't just listen to everybody's opinion, because I was really impressed with this, and a lot of people are going to say, "No, it's crap, it's a stinker," but, or if they don't, they might not even comment because they're not that interested in the film. But really impressed by the 1997 Shining. So now I've got two great Shining adaptations I can watch. So I can either watch the 1980 classic from Kubrick, or I can go to the Mick Garris miniseries, which is also very, very good in my opinion. Anyway, have you watched the Shining miniseries from 1997? Do you have an opinion on it? Do you think it's rubbish? Do you think it's underrated? Do you think it's good? You know, let me know over the next couple of days in the comments, because we can always have a chat about it, because I was really impressed with this. Really couldn't believe how much I liked it. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye.